Hey there, I just wanted to walk you through this everything you need to know about the instructor process. And it's literally everything you need to know about. That's why I title it that, because I try to walk through everything it took me to build our process and I document every step of the way. So you can see here right at the top, I have a table of contents where you can jump to any part of this because it is a 14-page document. So sometimes it gets a little annoying to scroll through it. And so I try to make it easier to jump down to different processes based on what you need to work on. Now, one thing I want to point out here is that I've given you every email we've sent. Now, instead of giving you them how we send them with like our website name and Justin's name and things like that, I actually have this cool new feature in Google Docs that lets you just come in here, type your website name right here. And as soon as you hit enter, it updates all 18 places where this is used. So you're in essence updating all of these emails to have your preferences and your website details. Now, I didn't do it for things like name, he and she's, because this is something whoever is sending the emails should update based on the individual they're emailing. But as far as you, the systems administrator, goes, you can give them things like your website, your founder's name, like you can quickly include those things, and that won't change every time they send this email, but it will change the name of the person that was nominated, and whether it was male or female. And so we are going in here, and you can come in here and fill out all these details, and it will automatically update throughout the document. So I try to highlight any place that's a little that may have been hidden or overlooked. So this should be the number of your members inside this email, so that way you're showing the value to the instructor. I'm not going to read each and every one of these to you because we went over them in the workshop. But again, you can come in here, read them, make changes, update them. You will not offend me for changing them. This is what we use to build our business, and I'm just sharing that same process with you. So definitely feel free to come in here and add your personality and some of your preferences to your emails. Now, when you're onboarding your new instructors, this is a type form that I created, and I literally gave you what I wrote on each section so that you can go in and change it as well. As you're building it, you can come here, you can see here that this is the question I asked, and this is the submission they needed to submit. The quality assurance team, that I walked through the whole process. I walked through the whole process that we did to build our team, and you can follow the same thing. I even gave you the post. So like if you have a community, you can just copy paste this right into your community and start getting your Q&A team going. But if you don't have a community, you can even post this on Facebook, and you might find a friend or family member that is interested in doing this job for you in exchange for access to your course that you're publishing. And so you'll find that you have a lot of people in your community willing to help you grow, even for small things like this, because they might not have the skill or the expertise that you have on the topic, but they know how to be helpful in a repetitive task. And so that would be something that they could help with. Now here, I didn't give you a link to my type form, mostly because I didn't want to muddle with anything that's currently active. Again, this is a process we use month after month after month for getting content ad skills. So I did not want to have anyone going there to look through the questions and then accidentally mess up the automations that we have set up. So I gave you every single email here. Every single question right here. And then for things that had specific answers to our business, I just gave you a screenshot of the questions. You could see the inputs I had, and you could customize them to what met your needs. Then as you scroll down further, you'll see we start getting into some of the nitty gritty. I talk here about our approval standards and what questions and answers we look for. And then if somebody doesn't meet our approval standards, I gave you the exact email we use to send to them. So that way you had something in the process. Now, lastly, the publishing process here is everything I do in Typeform. You can copy this whole thing into Trello, and it will give you the same checklist I have inside of Trello. So for example, I would create one checklist, title it Project Manager, and then I would come here, I'd copy this, I'd paste it into Trello, and it will give me a line item in that checklist for every one of these things. So I don't have to manually copy and paste every line. So all you have to do is click Create Checklist inside Trello and then name it the title of the person that's doing that job. And then you can copy each one of these into the checklist for that person. And then it's already pre-created, just like I showed you inside the workshop. Now, the last thing that you'll see down here is editing a masterclass. These are details I give to my project manager so she can follow the workflow and manage the team. But I did a call with our video editor specifically about things that they would have to do. So that way my project manager did not have to train my video editor. I just did a call talking about what makes an attractive thumbnail, what is a good website intro, what is a good website outro. And then I had her go create some so that way I could give her feedback that met my preferences. And so we went through this, and sometimes it's a back and forth process with the video editor until they really nail down your preferences. But these were the specific things we are looking for in every one of our videos. And then I just had to individually train as they started working with us more and more and more on video content, like, hey, you missed this opportunity for a call out. I would have loved to have seen this. And so there is an onboarding and training process that you'll have to do, but I did give you the template of what we looked for. So that way you can put your preferences and your requirements into there. Publishing a masterclass. Now this checklist follows everything that Uscreen takes. That's the software we use for publishing AdSkills. And so if you decide to go with a different platform, this checklist will be different for you, because like AdSkills uses Uscreen, and Uscreen has, different types of graphics. They have a description section. They have a specific headline or title section. And so I filled out everything in this process specifically for using Uscreen with AdSkills, including the thumbnails. So what I did for thumbnails is I created a Canva template that met the design standards of our website, our brand standards. And then I let the team use those templates. So they're not going and creating thumbnails on their own free reign inside of Canva. They're using specific projects, and they're just rotating through a series of emails and a series of thumbnails. And if we find any of the thumbnails are being used too repetitively, or they're getting bad click-through rates, then we remove them from that template and create new ones. And so I did not link you to ours because they're ours, but you can link to yours here. The last thing I want to talk about is a secondary document that I'm going to give you that we didn't talk about it all in the workshop, but when we onboarded a new instructor, we used to send them this PDF, and it really just helped them have the quality standards we were looking for right up front in a very gentle, easy to consume way. And so this was a recording guide. It talks about if you're going to use Zoom to record, make sure you have these settings, because that will give us the optimal video settings for when our video editor takes it and they can do full screen and speaker screen and just different types of clips that they can do without distorting the quality of the video. Then I talk about sound, things they need to pay attention to with their sound location and recording location. I talk about their background, like should never record with a dirty dining room table behind you, like just go clean it off real quick. And so we just talk about making sure your background is presentable. Sometimes you put a plant back there or a light back there or something that makes the background a little bit more attractive. I talk about lighting a little bit. And then lastly, I talk about leveling up their content. I talk about not everyone will be ready for this, and that's totally okay. But some people are ready to take on to the next step. And that would be using like a secondary camera. That, like what I'm recording right now is my screen. If I had my computer camera on, it would be recording my face in the bottom corner. And then I could have a secondary camera just past my desk, recording me sitting at my desk, talking to my screen, talking to you. And that would be another more engaging screen that the video editor can flip between. And so really, we're just improving the quality standards and the entertainment value of a video. And so again, not everybody is ready for that, but I did want to give them that resource if they were interested in leveling up. And then I give them outlines for like course resources, how to outline a course. So that way, if they've never created one, they can sort of gain from our expertise in creating course businesses. So I'm also giving you this as a download with this, even though it wasn't a part of the SOP, but I felt it was a valuable asset that you could just update and have your branded for your website and use for onboarding your instructors. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me in the members area and ask whatever questions you have. Have a great day.